Thank you, Chairwoman Green, and I apologize. I'm getting over a cold, so I'm losing my voice here. Ms. Maher, I want to start with you. Just generally, would you say you generally agree or disagree with the following statement? The history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggles?
I would not say I agree with that, sir.
That's good to hear. It's interesting because a lot of your thinking, as expressed by your public statements, is deeply infused with economic and cultural Marxism. Do you believe that America is addicted to white supremacy?
I believe that I tweeted that, and as I've said earlier, I believe much of my thinking has evolved over the last half decade.
It has evolved. Why did you tweet that?
I don't recall the exact context, sir, so I wouldn't be able to say.
Okay. Do you believe that America believes in black plunder and white democracy?
I don't believe that, sir.
You tweeted that in reference to a book you were reading at the time, apparently, The Case for Reparations.
I don't think I've ever read that book, sir.
You tweeted about it.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Plus Rich Cotton. All the new subscribers that came from the Devin Archer short, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the support. I got an influx of some people. This is one of the commentary videos I do. This is going to be Representative Brandon Gill from Texas, continuing the questioning at the DOGE committee hearing of NPR and PBS and basically public radio being funded by the taxpayers. Brandon Gill, I've seen him in a couple committee hearings in the past, and he was on fire. I don't really know too much about him other than he's just a Republican from Texas. But the man, he comes prepared, and he's ready to light her up. She's gonna have a very bad, no good day, even more so as we continue this. So if you guys can, man, I do memes, I do static memes, video memes, American First content, commentary, all types of stuff. I try to litter you with a little something every single day. Shorts from the long form videos, super cuts, and all that stuff, man. So please hit buttons. I need you to press buttons, subscribe, like all that stuff. I'm a brand new guy. I just started at this past election, and I need that support. I need that America First support. Anyway, let's just get into it. I'm going to run back the question one more time because he's going to embarrass her. Let's go. All right, man. Thanks to all the new people. Welcome.
Do you believe that America believes in black plunder and white democracy?
I don't believe that, sir.
You tweeted that in reference to a book you were reading at the time, apparently, The Case for Reparations.
I don't think I've ever read that book, sir.
You tweeted about it. You said you took a day off to fully read The Case for Reparations. You put that on Twitter in January of 2020.
I apologize. I don't recall that I did.
Okay.
I'd no doubt that your tweet there is correct, but I don't recall that.
How'd it go out there? He beat me. Fair and square.
Okay. Do you believe that white people inherently feel superior to other races?
I do not.
You don't? You tweeted something to that effect. You said, I grew up feeling superior. Ha, how white of me. Why did you tweet that?
I think I was probably reflecting on what it was to grow up in an environment where I had lots of advantages.
It sounds like you're saying that white people feel superior.
I don't believe that anybody feels that way, sir. I was just reflecting on my own experiences.
Do you think that white people should pay reparations?
I've never said that, sir.
Yes, you did. You said it in January of 2020. You tweeted, Yes, the North. Yes, all of us. Yes, America. Yes, our original collective sin and unpaid debt. Yes, reparations. Yes, on this day.
I don't believe that was a reference to fiscal reparations, sir.
What kind of reparations was it a reference to?
I think it was just a reference to the idea that we all owe much to the people who came before us.
That's a bizarre way to frame what you tweeted.
So she tweeted about her brave, virtuous decision after taking a day to read on the case for reparations, and then immediately had to say, "Well, I didn't read that book, sir." Well, why did you tweet that you read? Why did you tweet that you took a day off to what? Anyway, you can tell she does not want to answer these questions. She doesn't want to be here. The only reason she's here is because she knows she's being defunded, and she has to come here and lie and pretend that her opinions are evolving. This is a woman that is 41 years old. Anyone that's in their 40s and 50s, look, everyone's allowed to have their opinions evolve and change with new information. This isn't new information. She's just bending to who she's talking to right now. This isn't an evolution of thought and critical thinking. This is, oh my God, everything I've said and done is getting me in trouble, and I'm going to lose the funding for this entire operation if I don't go here and lie and pretend like I'm like a middle of the road person. It's a joke. She sits on the board of the largest censorship organization. Now, that is the Center for Democracy and Technology, if you missed the last video. It pushes for censorship and gets its funding from the Open Society Foundation's George Soros. So this lunatic who tweets the most virtuous things in the world for you to do, she doesn't want to do it, but she wants you to do it. And she's taking money from George Soros and from the taxpayer. It's just a big old grift. She's not in the private sector even a little bit. She's taking money from George Soros and she's taking money from the taxpayer to spread propaganda. And now that she's caught up in it, she wants to lie and pretend like she's in the middle of the road, and please keep giving her money. Because if you take the money away and they have to be funded privately, it's not going to work out. If they had to survive in the market of ideas, they would fail. That progressive ideals and that far left ideology is failing, and it would fail on a major scale. And that's why she's here at this hearing to beg and plead and pretend like she's not who she is. She's exact. Anyone's opinions can evolve, but not in just 2 or 3 years whenever you're already in your 40s and there's no new evidence that's changed your mind, and you can't articulate that either. You're just fumbling over your words going, "What did I? Oh, I didn't read that. Oh, I said I did. Well, I'm sorry. What is going on? What the hell is this?" Take their money away immediately. This dude is destroying her. Continue.
Okay. How much reparations have you personally paid?
Sir, I don't believe that I've ever paid reparations.
Okay, it's just for everybody else.
I'm not asking anyone
Seems
to
to
pay
be what you're
reparations, sir.
suggesting. Do you believe that looting is morally wrong?
I believe that looting is illegal, and I refer to it as counterproductive. I think it should be prosecuted.
Do you
to the
believe
full
it's
extent of the
morally
law.
wrong, though?
Of course.
Of course. Then why did you refer to it as counterproductive? It's a very different way to describe it.
It is both morally wrong and counterproductive, as well as being
You
illegal.
tweeted, "It's hard to be mad about protests," in reference to the BLM protests, not prioritizing the private property of a system of oppression. You didn't condemn the looting. You said that it was counterproductive. NPR also promoted a book called In Defense of Looting. Do you think that that's an appropriate use of taxpayer dollars?
I'm unfamiliar with that book, sir, and I don't believe that was at my
You
time at
tweeted
NPR.
that you read that book. Oh, no.
I don't believe that I did read that book, sir.
Do you think that a few years ago, NPR educated America about, quote, the whole community of genderqueer dinosaur enthusiasts? Do you think that that's an appropriate use of tax dollars?
I was not at NPR at the time, sir.
That's not the question, though. Do you think that that's an appropriate use of our tax dollars?
I think our tax dollars that we use are to be able to provide a wide range of
I'll take that as a yes. You do believe that that's appropriate. Your health advisor at NPR also stated in an interview that, quote, fear of fatness is more harmful than actual fat. Would you like to explain how fear of fatness is more harmful than actual fat? That's an editorial at NPR.
I am not familiar with the editorial, and I don't believe that was published during my time here.
It's called Diet Culture is Everywhere. Here's how to fight it. Do you think that that's an appropriate use of taxpayer dollars?
I think any reporting on health is an appropriate use of
You've
taxpayer
spent-
dollars, yes.
And you think that editorializing that fat is not unhealthy is appropriate?
I don't know what that article is, sir, and I'm not familiar with it, so I
This
couldn't
is
say.
fake news. Do you think that basic accommodations like doorways or seat belts represent, quote, latent fat phobia?
I don't have an opinion.
It's
on that,
also
sir.
from NPR. Do you think civility is racist?
No, sir.
No. Your outlet ran an article entitled, quote, when civility is used as a cudgel against people of color. That was on All Things Considered. Would you like to explain?
I'm not on the editorial side, sir. I'm not familiar with that story.
You talk about how NPR is news. This is editorialization, and I'll read it. For many people of color in the United States, civility isn't so much social lubricant as it is a vehicle for containing them, preventing social mobility, and preserving the status quo. This is garbage.
Lord have
I'll
mercy,
spend
I'm
all
about
of
to
my time
bust.
doing everything I can to ensure you guys never get another dollar of taxpayer funding. This is complete garbage. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Gill.
What happened? Lost. Pretty bad. I think that guy might even be tougher than the first guy.
All right, guys, we'll finish this up right here. But I mean, you tell me. That's the NPR CEO. She didn't want to answer any questions, and she didn't want to admit to any of her previous statements from the last few years. For the most part, what did you learn? You learned that NPR espouses that fat phobia is worse than actually being fat, retarded. That if you're white, you who have never owned slaves should pay black people who also have never been slaves for an injustice that none of us had anything to do with. That makes sense. That's not retarded at all. Then what was the other one? It doesn't even matter. Everything she said was absolutely retarded. Her face was painting. I only did a zoom in once on her because I really didn't want to see her face too much. But to be honest, she looked tired. She looked like she was worn out. She was worn out. And in the end, I'm worn out from listening to that bullshit. Brandon Gill is a monster. He tore her to shreds, and she deserves every little bit of it. I mean, this is absolute trash, and I'm happy that Texas has a representative that's willing to fight every step of the way to make sure she never gets another one of our dollars to spread this type of trash. I mean, it's really just racist, garbage, backwards, progressive trash. And that's what we're here to destroy. If you like this kind of content, guys, hit buttons, subscribe, hit the like button, comment. I reply to all the comments, man. So go down there and run your mouth so I can run my mouth back at you. I don't care if you hate me and you don't like what I'm doing. Say something. Do something. I'll talk back to you. You want to talk? Let's talk about it. All right, man. I'll see you guys on the next one. Another one's coming, believe me, because this was embarrassing. All right, man. See you guys soon. Thanks for watching.